the rise to fame that you had through the way that you did.
Being the first girl in Me Too is kind of like being the first girl to die in a horror movie. I'm a comedian out here in Los Angeles. I tour nationally, sometimes internationally.
Watching the documentary that you were featured in on Netflix.
Comedy is comedy because it's human. It's imperfect. It's silly, and it's surprising people. It's breaking social norms, basically saying that I wasn't a good enough victim for them to feel sorry for.
Welcome back to Blonde Highlights.
Today is a very special guest. Oh, shit. The most important part. How do you want us to introduce you? I'm sorry.
Fuck it. We're doing it this way.
Yeah.
I know.
Hi, guys. I'm Jenn Sterger. I'm a comedian and former sports broadcaster. How about that? Does that work?
That works.
I just did your job for you.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
exactly. And exactly. Like the reason I even know how to like introduce guests is because of Jen. And then of course I mess it up right in front of you.
I have that impact on people. Sorry. People get nervous when you're like, oh no, the teacher's watching.
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, I feel like I'm learning so much right now. It's
Yes.
great.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, I'm a comedian out here in Los Angeles. I tour nationally, sometimes internationally. I've actually done some shows up in Canada. And then I spend a lot of my time working in Los Angeles and helping other women kind of hone their stories and like learn how to be comedians. So something I'm super passionate about.
That's amazing. Yeah. And then Sunday, you guys were having a show.
We did.
And
it was
I tried
really
to
cool.
I tried to get tickets and it was completely sold out.
Not to brag. No, they, honestly, I had nothing to do with it. It's the wonderful women on the show. Like I'm so proud of the community that Genesis Soul and Witty Titties is like built out here in Los Angeles for other comics. I mean, just to be able to be a part of it and to help teach and help women hone their voices. Like we really are building something with a lot of momentum out here.
Yeah, I know the Witty Titties has been like such a help for me and such a good community as well.
Yeah, it's so funny because I've always come up, I've been very lucky because in sports, when I worked in sports, there really wasn't a community for female journalists to kind of band together because I think we all kind of fell for that age-old trope that like there's only enough room at the table for one of us, you know? Whereas in comedy, I think people would love for us to believe that because there's always like, well, we got our one girl on the show.
Yeah.
You know, we can't have more than one girl. And it's like, no, we're creating spaces where there's more than enough room for all of us. And just, I love showing women that we're all so unique and our voices are so different, but we also have so much in common. And it makes us, I don't know, it makes us closer because we're able to acknowledge all of that. We're not each other's competition.
I love that. Like through modeling, I feel like that's something that I actually had to learn myself because when I started modeling, of course, it's like that competitiveness of, you know, you're up against like, all these different girls. But like the more that I went through it, it's like, no, there's enough projects and enough space for all of us. And I find that going in with more of that headspace, it's like there's different ways that you can collaborate. There's different projects that you can work on with other models and sort of like build yourselves up together and not being a comedian, but just being a part of the Witty Titties space, like seeing the shows and everything. It's like you can feel that support network within the space itself. Like it's very positive and uplifting.
And honestly, it makes me feel good to hear you say that modeling's even changing because like I got my start modeling. Like I got discovered when I was in college and then like I got offered Maxim and Playboy and all that stuff. And it was just such a, I mean, it was the early 2000s, so it was a different time. And like back in, you know, like the mid 2000s, like 2005, 2008, like that really skinny, like chic was still in. It was like they wanted you to have curves and all the fake parts, but they still wanted you to be rail thin while having those. And so much so, like, I remember when I was actually posing for Maxim, I was with two other girlfriends of mine, and the stylist goes, fine, I'll dress the fat one. I was like 112 pounds.
Oh my God.
If that. And I was just like, oh shit, she's talking about me.
You're like, who?
Well, I was just like, oh my God, I didn't realize my mom was on this set. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because I grew up in a household where like my mom like watched what I ate and would like make little snide comments about that stuff. And I think it's just like, I don't know if it's like conscious parenting or like a whole thing that's happening now where we're being a lot more deliberate in how we speak to women about their
Yes.
bodies.
Mhm.
But I love that modeling is even becoming more inclusive, because for a while there it was like, unless you were willing to torture yourself to get the body that was in style at the time, which is gross,
Yeah.
you know, and then you weren't getting work.
Yeah. And like even when I moved out to LA, it was you had to be a standard size 14, which is like 45 hip, like 34 waist. I might be a little bit off, but like I'm just naturally like I'm big bone, like I'm like full.
You seem tall.
And yeah, I'm like 5'10", but like yeah. But
Go off, girl.
even as like a plus size model, they set that standard, and like to maintain that for me as like just like a naturally big person, that took a lot of the bad stuff to, you know, get to
I think
maintain
beauty
that
is beauty
side.
and healthy is healthy. You know what I mean? And I think it varies from individual, like to what our bodies feel good at. You know what I mean? Because there's been times that I've been super rail thin and like looked physically fit, but I was sicker than I've ever been. And so I
Yes.
think it's like you have to just listen to where your body wants to hang out and not
Yeah.
force it to be something that it's not.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's how I got this size was because I was so skinny for so long and I was very bulimic, and we've talked about it here on the podcast, but I felt so fat then. Like I felt so heavy.
And doesn't it make you feel bad how mean you were to your past self?
Oh,
And be like,
yeah.
man, I should have been nicer to her.
Yeah. And I think back, like there's photos of like in Mykonos or in these different places, and I'm like so insecure and like covering my body. And I'm like, that body was snatched. Like that was amazing. Looking back.
Oh, yeah. No, I still have all those. And as you get older, like you'll have even more grace for yourself as that comes, because you guys are way younger than I am, but you'll have a lot more grace for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing with the community in this comedy space that I have felt is such a change because of my career as like a celebrity hairstylist for years, especially like in the early 2010s. It was so cutthroat competitive.
Truly.
Oh yeah, like I had a hair and makeup artist team like sabotage like a job for me and just like try to make my life hell because it was all about like stealing people's jobs and climbing that ladder. And it was like, and sadly, some of those people that were just outright terrible got really far.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't shock me when I see that happen. It still happens, unfortunately.
Exactly.
So, like, what's this thing you guys do with like highlights and lowlights? I have none of the above, by the way, because that's too expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
It's
It's fine. We do accept brunettes.
It's not box color, I swear. I pay a lot of money for this, but also like I'm so low maintenance when it comes to my hair. But what's this thing you guys do?
So we do this thing, we do our highlights and lowlights. It's a play on the name. And basically it's just like a positive in your life at the moment or some sort of negative or something you want to rant about.
Okay. My positive. I loved watching all the girls absolutely crush their sets on Sunday night. Like
Really?
truly, I think nothing brings me more joy than like watching women that I've been working with like take notes and like hone what they're good at.
Mhm.
There's this one comic, Catherine Yoon. I'm sure you
Yeah,
know
yeah.
Catherine. Catherine and I have been working on like her really like staying composed and staying in character on stage and like not falling out or second guessing herself. And she had such a amazing command of the room that like when I see a woman have one of those sets, I was like, oh shit, her career just leveled up. And you could tell she
Oh.
felt it because she walked off stage and saw me and she just immediately burst into tears and hugged me.
Aw.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh, this is what I do this for. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because she felt that too. So that's my highlight. My low light, we kind of are already talking about it, is I'm, as much as I do for other women, it still surprises me when I hear women speaking poorly of one another, or
Mm.
that it's just like we have to find a reason to not like someone because I mean, it's the best way I gotta explain it is like women love to find a reason to like cancel another woman or
Yes.
to make her the bad guy instead of examining what it is that's their own parts
Mhm.
that are like bringing forward something. And it's like, hey, again, is it jealousy? Is it, is it envy? Is it I want what she has? You know what I mean? Or is it just insecurity? Is it some relationship shit we had with our mom? You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
it's like, I'm still very disheartened by times I see that kind of behavior pop up because I feel like I do such a job of owning my own shit and recognizing like when I bring it into a room with me and being like, hey, these are the things, like I'm always one to like, if I feel myself get activated, like check myself.
Yeah.
And be like, oh wait, this might be your stuff, Jen. And I'll acknowledge it to the other person. Hey, a little bit of this might be like some stuff for me. And I go, but this is how the situation is making me feel. And so my low light is I really hope that women can start to do the internal work on themselves and not just see everyone else out there as the bad guy and maybe go, hey, what are some things that I can do to improve my communication with other women, my relationship with other women, and understand that we're not out here most of us are not out here actively trying to harm each other. And that's just like a story we're telling ourselves, you know?
I feel like it's been the narrative for so long just in society about like pinning women against each other or like
tale as old as time, girl.
Yeah, she's already doing that. And I think it's just like that mindset of like, just because someone may be more, you know, prettier than me or more successful than me doesn't mean that like I suck. It just like another woman's success doesn't affect my own success.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
I think a lot of women struggle with the idea that look, someone said to me the other day and they said, it's way easier to tear someone else down than it is to build your own thing. And I was like, oh, that's so true, you know? And you can talk in all of the tropes, but I look at Witty Titties and the community that I'm helping establish out here, you know, just of women in comedy, you know, even aside from Witty Titties. And it's like, I look at that group of women as kind of like a boat. And there is so much more momentum when we are all rowing together. But there's always going to be that one person that either A, is trying to sink the boat or wants you to row for them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey, pick up your oar and do your work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta match the flow of the rest of us or we're kicking you off this boat, sister. We don't have room for the dead weight that's gonna honestly dead weight and bad attitude. You know what I mean? Like dead weight, bad attitude, like, oh, the world is against me. Like that attitude isn't going to get you anywhere. I think I've been through a lot of difficult things throughout various parts of my career. And I could have let any one of those things destroy me or make me skeptical or vindictive towards other women. And in fact, I think what it did was it made me lean in harder and be like, hey, like, how do I prevent this from happening in the next place? How do I keep this from happening to another woman? Yeah. Like, how do I continue to be like a force for good and show women like they can be kind to each other and all still get ahead? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the thing I pride myself on is I've never stepped on another human being to get where I am.
Yeah. And we were talking about that in an episode recently about just doing the right thing. And, you know, leading with integrity, and it may not always get you.
So hard.
It's so hard. And sometimes you're not rewarded for it. Most of the time you're not. But in the long run, I feel like you always come out on top if you can live with yourself. Like you have.
It's about peace.
Yeah.
For sure. It's about peace because you never have to question. Like, I couldn't live with myself if I thought I had actively harmed someone to get what I got. And anyone that can do that needs to be the one sitting on a therapist's couch, not me. Yeah. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that more and more women are becoming conscious of this and being like, hey, we can preach Women Crush Wednesday and, you know, women supporting women, but it's like, hey, actually walk the walk, talk the talk, you know?
Well, the contrast with my highlights and lowlights are going to be quite different.
Look, I try to bring some deep shit here, okay?
I love it. I'm like, tell me more. I love it.
Yes, we love to get deep. Trust us. We cry, we laugh, we do all the things. But highlight for me is, you know, you don't know this about me, but I am running a farming operation out of the middle of Los Angeles.
Farming?
Oh, yeah. I grow my own food.
What?
Yes, I have a community garden plot and I grow tons of fruit and vegetables.
Where is this?
It's by Runyon Canyon.
What?
Yeah.
No, do they know? Is this like an underground thing or like do they know you're doing it?
Oh, no, it's a cult. I'm basically in a cult. No, it's like every time I talk to anyone who like knows of it, they're like, it's a 10-year wait list to get in. How'd you get in? And, but yeah, I'm growing corn, vegetables, tomatoes, berries, grapes, everything.
Amazing.
Yeah. And so, I did a whole patch of flowers for cut flowers. And I was gonna bring it in, but I was like, oh, the water looks gross. It was whatever. But I I got tons to make bouquets of flowers. So I have bouquets of flowers all around my apartment that I grew from seed.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
She's
So
mother.
yeah, so it's definitely a
Yes.
highlight for sure.
And low light.
The low light is the fucking golfers. The gophers.
I was like, what?
Wait, we have
The golfers.
I was like, look, I also do not like golfers. I don't know what it is, but every white man that I know in the past 3 years since COVID has been like, I could be on the PGA Tour. Truly, they all think they're so good at it, or like they let their golf game absolutely wreck their life. And I'm like, buddy,
No,
no.
it's
No.
it's not for you.
The number of men that have tried to talk me into playing golf with them, and I'm like,
Ew.
I don't need to like all of the things that you like. I'm like, I like sports. Isn't that enough? Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to like that one or do it. Like,
Yeah.
they're like, why don't you want to learn? And I go, because I don't give a fuck.
If I wanted to learn, I probably would have by
Yes.
now.
Yes,
Like, I've
I
been in the
think
sport world.
For sure. Men should have activities that are just for them, and they can have that
Yeah,
one.
take it.
Take the golf.
Take it.
I'm like,
Yeah.
hit something, chase it. No. Who invented this? Is awful. Like, no.
And it takes up so much land too.
Oh, and they're like, "Do you want to drive the cart?" And I'm
Mm.
like, "Fucking no!"
Like, I have to
This
drive
sounds
myself
fun.
here. Like,
Yes. I'm like, "Oh no, I would like to go to the mall. Bye.
Yeah.
I would like to go do literally anything but what you're describing."
Yeah.
Yes. I grew up in a golf course, and not in a rich way, but in a.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
okay,
My
Lord.
parents owned the house before. There's also a trailer park that butts up against one of the holes. But me and my brother used to terrorize that golf course when we were kids.
I love that. For
We were
you.
just like kids left alone, terrorizing the place. We would go through the ponds and like the fields, and we would collect all the golf balls, wash them, and then sell them back to golfers on the side of the
That's
road.
genius.
That's honestly a small business, and
Yeah.
I have no notes, truly. But it's so funny because there are actually people that get paid now to harass golfers. Yeah.
What?
There are people that like get paid to like heckle golfers like in their golf swing. Like this is an actual job.
I want that job. I would have so much fun
Which
with that
brings
job.
up the fact that I think most golf bros like secretly are the type of dudes that are like, step on me, queen.
Yes.
100%.
Put on some golf shoes and
Yes.
step on me. Like, that's all the spikes, just dig them into my ass. Like
Scratch
that's
my back with a T.
yes,
Like-
1,000%. I'm like, who hurt you? I'm like, don't answer that. It was your dad.
Yeah.
But for sure, like I feel like most golf bros, like they secretly like they usually have like successful jobs or whatever, and like the golf course is just like their time to like zen out. But I think secretly they all like enjoy getting negged and like put down.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. They have other like little costumes they put on, the little outfits for the golf.
Outfits, like,
Where you're just like, oh, you did that on purpose.
yeah, nice
Wow.
polo. Like-
So you don't hate golfers, you hate gopher. I didn't know we had gophers in LA.
Gophers. Yeah, we have a lot of gophers, and they literally ate all of my sunflowers. They've been terrorizing everything. Like half of this one like raised bed is like just gone, and it's like a constant fight with them, putting like metal wiring underneath, and like
Oh, you
Yeah.
have to protect the crops from underneath.
oh, I gotta protect the crops. Yeah,
That's insane.
yeah.
Can't we just have nice things?
Never.
I had no
never.
idea this was an issue. I'm so glad
Yeah.
we're bringing this to the forefront for people.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, if the apocalypse happens, I'll ration out some corn.
Thank you. I know where to come now. I'm excited.
Yes.
My highlight is okay. So I deleted TikTok for a while because it just like
Mm.
sucked me in. But for the podcast, like I always re-download it when I come here so I can like do things with Kyle on it and whatever. But my one friend at home didn't realize that I had deleted it. And so on the phone with her the other day, she's like, do you even watch the stuff I send you? And I'm like, girl, I haven't had my TikTok in like months. And so anyways, re-downloading it, I literally had like a movie's worth of just like the funniest shit the other night. I was like, all the stars have aligned. Like everything that I was watching was hilarious. And I literally just like laid in bed, did a scroll of just like the most heinous, hilarious shit. And I was like, you know what? That's my highlight. I had like a full movie reel of just funny shit.
I love that. I would see that many messages and I would have a panic attack.
Yeah.
I can't see like unread messages. It really
Oh.
stresses me out.
Oh no.
It presses me.
Do you want to freak out?
Sure.
Look at my phone.
No, this
Oh.
is much.
Wait, where is it? Oh, it's not
Like-
even showing. Just like see all the blue dots. Just
No.
the
You
emails.
know you have ADHD, right?
Yeah. Oh, it's not even showing the numbers. The emails are in the thousands. Normally it shows the numbers,
I think
and it's not. But everything's in the thousands. Like it's so bad.
oh, girl, you can't do that in the industry because people will think that you don't want to work with them. You might miss something
Okay,
important.
well,
Yeah.
this is my low light. My low light actually is that and like Kyle's been pointing it out. She's like, girl, you have like so much ADHD. But I actually mentally replied to an email. So in my head, I opened an email
Oh,
and
hate
I
when do
mentally
that.
replied. And then like a few days later, I like was like, oh my God, wait, hold on a second. And I went and I just missed a huge fucking
Casting.
opportunity with my modeling agency. And I'm so
Oh.
pissed. I'm like,
Mm.
why?
Yeah.
But yeah, in my brain, I just like mentally replied to it. And no, she missed it. It's gone.
That's the
Done.
worst.
I
This is what I
know.
preach to people where I'm like, hey, you got to treat,
Mhm.
even though what we do feels like fun, you still got to treat it like a business.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like it is a business and like I'm always like on top. And my agent, she was literally like, I didn't even like press it. She's like, I just figured something happened because it's so out of character for me. But I was like, fuck, like,
No.
why did you follow
Yeah.
up? Like
Yeah.
you should have, but whatever. It's
For
not meant to
sure.
be.
Yeah. No, I will respond.
Mhm.
But there's just a lot of spam, a lot of whatever. And so like my notifications are always like in the thousands. But
So I delete all of that.
yeah.
Delete all of the
don't do that.
spam. Yeah, delete all the spam, report it. So that way it becomes less and less. So it's less and less noise. I like do whatever I can to limit my noise throughout the day so that I
Yeah.
can just focus on what I need to focus on.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's definitely important. But
Kyle's life and notifications are just flashing before her eyes right now. Just like, yeah.
But no, but that is important. And I've been self-employed since I was 18. So I've done it for a long time, but it's been so embarrassing once. I had an executive for a TV network send me a text and was like, Kyle, please grab your phone and open your email. And I was so embarrassed
Yeah.
about it because I was like, they've been trying to get a hold of me for like 5 days.
It's so funny. I had the same issue when I was trying to get a makeup artist for Netflix.
Oh.
Because a lot of the times makeup artists just don't have the business sense. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? If they've
Mhm.
always been an artist, it's quite, you can tell the ones that I'm like, oh, you've worked at a salon or you've worked at a company
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh, you at least have a little bit of like the business programming behind it. But like
Yeah.
some are just like, you know, it takes them 5 days to answer a business email. I'm like, you're gonna lose
You're
work.
missing out
Yeah.
on everything.
You can. I think that's an interesting thing that like I've really been preaching, especially to the community, the comedy community. Is yes, what we do is fun, but you still have to treat it like a business.
It's a full-on job.
Yeah.
Like,
for sure.
And I like what you were saying that one day about like try to respond in like 10 minutes and 7. The reason that I was able to break into another level with hair and to work for magazines and work for that stuff is because I would tell people if anyone cancels, anyone no shows, text me, call me, I will be there. And that's what happened. A big magazine. I had met a girl at a party. I told her that. She calls me one morning and she's like, the hairstylist we think's on meth and is no showed, and there's like this whole drama. Can you be in Malibu? And I literally just like called off work and I got there right away. And I picked up, it was an actress. I still work with that actress to this day,
Oh, that's
15 years
awesome.
later.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then I worked for that magazine for years and I got to do big stuff. I did a shoot with like Bella Hadid and like all of these bigger celebrities. And it changed my life just because one person was flaky and I
Yeah.
was able to swoop in real quick.
That just goes to show you there's always going to be someone that can take the job or replace you if you are not ready to and you're not on your game.
Exactly.
You know, not even
Yeah.
from a talent standpoint, just from like a professional standpoint, you know,
Mhm.
Mhm.
show up, do the work, be present, be easy to work with, you know. That's always, but I still think I say all of that, but I also still have like boundaries, you know what I mean, where I'll be like, hey, I'm not going to answer emails after this time. Like, these are not my business hours. These are my personal hours. I think when you're an independent contractor or you work for yourself, it is so important to be like, hey, I clock out at this time, and then this rest of this time is for me.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, I think hustle culture and especially all of us working from home during the pandemic, I think it has really confused our bodies of like when and where we're supposed to work. And it's just not healthy to work all of the time. And so like I really try to adapt, like listening to my body and be like, you know what? I need a nap. I need a nap and the world will be fine for an hour. And so I make sure all my business is done before I do it. And then I nap and I wake up and I'm like, all right,
you're ready to go.
I treat it like a halftime of my day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, you need it.
The halftime show can go on without me. I'll be ready for the second half. You know what I mean? I got a game. So yeah.
So when we were watching the documentary that you were featured in on Netflix about Brett Favre, I was blown away by like the rise to fame that you had through the way that you did. And I was like, that's so
surreal.
So surreal, but also so like early 2000s coded. Like that was the way life
I get told
was.
this all the time by people your age.
Oh no.
I had one of my students be like, do you know that they have Pinterest boards dedicated to you? And I was like, what? No. Tell those girls don't do it. I'm like, my fashion was so tragic. My eyebrows were even sadder. Like, I mean, I look back and what happened to me, it was so surreal. But as crazy as some of it was, I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just because I feel like I learned so many valuable lessons that if I change any step of that or any part of that process, like I don't end up sitting in this chair. I don't end up working with all of these women and helping other women tell their stories. So I think it's been a valuable learning experience along the way. And don't get me wrong, it was school of hard knocks. Like I went through some stuff that I got the shit kicked out of me by life, but like I learned a lot, you know?
Yes.
How did you cope during those times? Like what did you do for yourself to like push yourself through all of that?
Comedy.
Okay.
Comedy. Having a sense of humor, I think, is crucial.
Yes.
And my sense of humor is super gallows humor and very dry and very deadpan and very, very honest. And I think even when I look back at some of my writings and stuff at the time, I've always just been drawn to being funny, you know? And that was actually when stuff really got hard after the story was leaked by that journalist. That was the part that really hurt me, is because I wasn't allowed to be myself. And they were like, Jen, like, you can't make jokes. You can't, like, you need to take this seriously, or people won't take you seriously as a victim. And I was like, they already don't.
Yeah.
And that was part of the problem. I think that was the hardest thing I learned from the Favre situation, was having to take feedback from people basically saying that I wasn't a good enough victim for them to feel sorry for.
That is,
you know, that was what I think, because we all had this idea of like what the perfect victim was supposed to be. You know, I'm writing a bit right now and working on a bit right now about how being the first girl in Me Too is kind of like being the first girl to die in a horror movie. No one remembers who the fuck you are. You know what I mean? And more importantly, like, you have to fit a certain mold, you know, like you can't dress too sexy. You can't have sex. You can't party. And I was like, fuck, oops. Like, you know, and look, I made all of the mistakes that all of us did. But I think now, my role, having survived it all and come out the other side of it, is to help educate and empower other women and make sure that this doesn't happen to someone else, you know, and to give them the tools that I learned, and to pass along the strength and the knowledge that I gained in those situations, and make sure that we're making it a better workplace, and we're just making it a better experience to be a woman on this planet.
I found that really interesting, like just in the documentary, like how you said, like not being the perfect victim and all of that. It was like your magazines that you did, like Maxim and Playboy and all of that, they were very much like held against you, which
is crazy, because at the
Yeah.
time, again, it was early 2000s coded. If you were in
Yeah.
these magazines, you get this as a model. It was
Yes.
considered the highest of compliments.
Yes.
If you were in Playboy, if you were in Maxim, you were considered one of the most beautiful women on the earth. And I never considered myself pretty. I never considered myself pretty. I wanted to model. I wanted to be in front of the camera. I wanted to entertain. I wanted to do pictures, and I wanted to act and do all of these things. And I can't tell you how many auditions and things that I had gone to that I was turned down because they were like, you don't fit our look. I actually worked at Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh, wow.
And I got told after I got my breast implants that I didn't look like the all-American girl, and they made me work in the stockroom.
No.
Oh God.
After
I got my breast implants, they were like, you don't look like the all-American girl. I was like, you guys are not watching the same television I am.
Like, I was gonna say,
I literally went to my doctor and was like, give me the Pamela Anderson.
Like,
you know
yeah. Oh my
you
God.
know? But it was so early 2000s coded.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to say too. You were discovered kind of in a way that like Pamela Anderson was discovered as well. And I thought that was interesting. But there is such a thing of like the perfect victim. And I think there's so many women that just something happens and they just know that like, this is all going to be held against me.
I think that is what made me the perfect victim, because I was not the perfect victim to society, but I was the perfect victim for predators.
Yes.
And I think people smell that. You know what I mean? I think bad people smell when they can get away with that type of stuff. When it's like, I think a lot of women, unfortunately, are raised to know that they're not going to be believed. And so, and I don't think it's just women either. I think to say that it's just women would be to dismiss a lot of men that have also been through this, because I think it's like 1 in 4 women have been sexually assaulted or molested by the time that they're 14. I think the number is 1 in 6 in men. And when you think about that, it's like, how many people have just gone through their entire lives in silence, just carrying this type of stuff with them? And I think sometimes those are the people that are the loudest to me on the internet, that are like, I don't believe you. And it's like, you don't believe me because no one believed you.
Exactly.
Is that what that is? I have to, when I know I'm dealing with someone like that, I will go, I am so sorry that this happened to you. But that doesn't mean you get to treat me poorly. You know what I mean? So I've really done a lot of like advocacy work around that, and a lot of just work in general around trying to help people be vulnerable, but not a victim, you know? Because that was one of the last classes I took when I was in college. I went to college for criminology and psychology.
Oh, yes.
Like, clearly not using any of it. Psychology, yes, because I do think that a lot of the stuff we do on stage as comics is and very cerebral. And like, let's be honest, makeup and hair people, you guys are unpaid psychologists.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, what do I owe? What's my copay? Like, forget your rate. What's the copay? You know? But I think one of the things that I took away from it was victimology. It was a victimology class. And it was, if something like that happens to you when you're younger and you're not believed, the odds of it happening to you the rest of your life are much higher, because you're just kind of programmed to deal with it. And you develop coping strategies that serve you at the time, whether it's like, be nice to the bad guy, or, you know, or freeze and just like pretend it's not happening, or some people fight. But most of the time it goes into like fawn or freeze, you know what I mean, in terms of the reaction. And I think those coping strategies serve you when you're younger, but they don't serve you as an adult. And so I've spent a lot of my adult life going, how were ways that I could have handled this better and prevented me from being victimized again?
Yeah. And I think that's so important to teach young people that as well, because being a trans woman and growing up where I grew up in like Appalachia, like I always was programmed that something was wrong with me. So I always put off the vibe of very much people pleasing, very much just like shrinking myself around other people. And people take advantage of that.
100%.
They really do. And I see it. And like, I've seen studies with like trans children, or just any sort of, even a boy that is very feminine as a child, they're more likely to have something happen because they're going to be less believable, and they already feel like something's wrong with them.
Yeah. And I think having that inner narrative that you're talking about, that like, I'm bad, so bad things happen to me.
Mhm.
That's something that I have really worked on with therapists throughout the years. Like, I think the culmination of, like, when people see this documentary, it's the culmination of years of therapy. This happened like almost 15 years ago, which is crazy. You know, this October will be the 15th anniversary of this happening. And people go, why are you still talking about this? And I think the reason I spoke on this documentary is because I realized there are so many people out there that can relate to what happened to me, because for the longest time it felt like such an unrelatable experience, which is why I didn't touch it on stage. I never spoke about it on stage, which has been interesting, because since the doc came out, a lot of comedians have been like, I had no idea that was you. And I am so sorry that happened to you. Some of them, like women comics that I've shared lineups with, that were like, I respected you before. I have so much more respect for you now. Because to know that you fought through all of that, you never used it to your advantage, and you just basically showed up and did the work like the rest of this, they're like, I have utmost respect for you. But I think working through that negative voice, and I've spent a lot of time reprogramming it to, I'm not responsible for bad people's actions. And being like, their actions are not about my self-worth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that that's been a really big healing, process for me.
What changes do you think could be made in the industry, like in the entertainment world, to help prevent this from happening to other women?
It's interesting because I think our industry is screwed in so many aspects, because it's an industry built on prey and predators, for lack of a better word. The people that are the most artistic and the most drawn to sharing art are often some of the most sensitive souls. And I think we have to do a better job of protecting those individuals so that they can still go out and create. Because I think I wonder how many voices we have lost along the way, because people just got so shut down in whatever it is that happened to them. And I think that we should just do a better job of protecting them and believing victims, and believing, and investigating stuff. You know what I mean? Giving stuff thorough investigation. I'll give this to comedy. I'm not to say that we're perfect, but I think comedy does a pretty good job of policing itself. You know what I mean? I think I like to think comedy is kind of like a pirate ship. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if someone does something egregious enough, we're throwing them off the boat.
Yeah.
You know what
yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So honor among thieves, like I will say, like, as much as people love to say comics are broken, and comics, have issues with substances, and, like they're sad people. Yes, but we use the things that have happened to us to bring other people joy. And I think that that's why I've always been drawn to comedy. Is I'm like, I have to make purpose of what's happened to me.
Yeah.
I have to find a reason for this,
Yeah. And that's one thing I think with comedy too. You are just like putting things out there. Like you get used to just like dropping, uncomfortable things sometimes. And I know that for the longest time, I think it was so many people had stories of being sexually harassed or violence or different things, and they kept it to themselves, and no one talked about it. And so when it did happen, people thought they were alone. Realized in reality, they were surrounded by people who had also gone through it. And like, I would call it my hairstylist studies. I've like, you know what I mean? Like, people tell me stuff, and
She's
it's
like, I have a very large sample size.
Yeah.
I've been conducting this experiment for years.
Oh yeah, exactly. But you do pick up on like societal norms by talking to so many people. And in the conversations I've had with people, it is a majority. It seems like a majority of women have had something happen to them in some way. And I think maybe not majority, but it's a high number. And I think that now people are talking about it, and people are knowing that they're not alone. And so it makes it harder for stuff like this, people to get away with it in a way.
I got a weird question for you.
Yeah.
When you're working on somebody's like hair, have you ever like gone to like touch somebody or work on their hair and been like, ooh, I don't like this energy.
Yes.
Isn't that fascinating?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like women, especially, they have a really strong gut reaction to certain people,
Mm-hmm.
and most of us have been programmed to ignore it.
Mhm.
Yes.
And that's where we get ourselves in trouble. Like
Mhm.
I tell people all the time, well, I used to have this one comic tell me, he goes, I don't know how to tell you this, Jen. He goes, but you're highly kidnappable. And I was like, what does that mean? I
What?
was like, that's a creepy thing to say to a woman.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't mean anything bad. He goes, you're very trusting. Even when like there's not a reason to trust somebody. And I think it's because I had like this really deep level of empathy and understanding for how the human brain worked because of all of my psychology
Mhm.
studies, where I was like, oh, I understand why you are the way you are. And now I think the work as an adult has been, I understand why you are the way you are, but it doesn't give you a right to hurt me. It doesn't give you a right to cause harm to me because you're unhealed.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But I have that same thing sometimes where I'm like, and I often will be like, Jen, stop that. Whatever you think you feel, like, put that LA witch bitch shit behind you.
Yeah.
But honestly, 9 times out of 10, I ended up being right that first time, and I ignored it. And so I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, we got to trust that.
Yeah, I always listen because there's been so many times where I got that feeling and then I went forward with doing someone's hair and it was a disaster. Like it turned into the worst situation ever and so much drama. So I've told people like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
Like I can't do this. And I know, and we're always right. I'll say to a coworker, like, I have a bad feeling. We got to like try to get out of this because there's no way that I'm going to like risk my reputation on something that's going to end up in a disaster. And I already know that it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's also, I mean, sometimes you just can't make people happy, but I definitely have a very strong intuition and I listen to it a lot with doing hair and also spending that much time with people doing color and extensions and stuff. Like you really pick up on so much stuff. And like,
I think touching someone
Yes.
really escalates that.
yeah. And if someone has really bad energy, I just don't want it to like suck the life out of me.
Yeah,
Because that happens.
for
Mhm.
sure. It always does.
What advice would you have if there's a woman listening right now and she's going through something sort of similar or something's happening to her and she's maybe scared to speak out or she's scared to come forward maybe for lack of people not believing her or just how her world could be turned upside down? Like what advice would you have for a woman in this similar situation?
It's interesting because I'd love to be like, speak up, defend
Mhm.
yourself, but I don't necessarily know that that's like the proper course of action. I think a lot of it is protect yourself, gather evidence,
Okay.
and find resources out there that can help you figure out the best course of action because every situation is totally different. And obviously, like if it involves a workplace versus personal, like there's no one size fits all remedy to these type of situations. But I think one, it's just like I said, gather that evidence and present it to, don't be afraid to present it to someone and be like, hey, here's what's happening to me. And I think you got to find the person that like is going to believe in you enough to also go to bat for you.
Okay.
There's some really great resources out there with like Time's Up that are also really invested in also like helping women who have been ostracized by their industries find work. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And I wish that those resources had been available to me back in the day because who knows what I would be doing right now. But I also think truly, again, if I hadn't been blackballed from sports, who knows if I would have ended up here.
Yeah.
And every time I step onto stage, I'm like, oh, this is what I was supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
1,000%. This is what I was supposed to
Do
be
you feel
doing.
like a sense of like empowerment or like a self of like you've reclaimed yourself when you get on stage?
For sure.
Especially like that first time.
It's honestly more just like, fuck it. No one
Yeah.
can do anything to me when I'm up here. You know, someone once told me, an older comic once told me, like, the stage is actually the safest place for you to be because up there you are untouchable.
Okay.
And they're like, why don't ever be scared to get on stage? Because up there, you're in charge. Like that is the place where no one can harm you. And the more I think about it, like it's true,
Mhm.
you know?
Unless you're Chris Rock.
I've never had anybody run up. I take that back. I was like, I've never had anybody hit me. I have had someone hit me. At a roast battle. I think I still hold the record of being the only person hit during one. But yeah, I think that's, to be fair, probably had it coming. But like, also that's what we're there for, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah.
Do you have, like, getting into the comedy, do you have any, like, funny bombing stories over the years? Because I think we all have something.
Funny bombing stories.
We can skip it if you want.
No, I'm not
Oh.
against it. No, I think you have to talk about when you bomb. There's a couple of that like come to mind. One is it's usually me misreading the room, and but one particular instance I remember was I didn't know when I first started doing comedy. Like I actually like my first show, I was like doing well, my jokes were hitting, and then all of a sudden like they stopped laughing and I started panicking and I was like, what is this? And I didn't realize it's because I'd started telling a story and they were invested.
Oh,
But
okay.
I was just like, oh no, the sound has stopped. You know what I mean? And so I think that was like a thing of like learning how to sit in the silence and be okay with it was one thing. Another event, I had to do this charity event. It's always a charity event. And they're like, we got this great concept. We're going to pair comics with world-class chefs, and like they're going to, you know, a comic's going to go out and like they're also going to present a meal. And the forethought was not there that if people are eating, they're not laughing.
Okay.
So I got up there and I was doing well, and then they drop the food and it goes silent. And I was just like, wow, guys, this is like being back home with my parents right now. This is Thanksgiving dinner. This is me running material and being ignored. I'm just waiting for one of you to pipe up and ask me when I'm going to get a real job. But after that show, this gentleman came up to me, again, early 2000s coded, or millennial coded, I should say. There was a show when I grew up called Double Dare. Do you remember Double Dare? Are you even old enough to know what Double Dare is?
Yeah.
But basically it was like a game show for kids, and they would have you like crawl through all of this slime and gack, and they would like shove a bunch of it up a fake nose like it was boogers, and you had to like dig through the boogers to get
Fun.
flags. Yeah, we were not well, okay? Like the shit we watched as kids, and we were like, this is television. Are amazing. But there was a really cool guy named Mark Summers that hosted the show. He hosted that, and he hosted You Can't Do That on Television. And he happened to be at this event. And Mark Summers, some people don't know this, but was a comedian. Got his start as a comedian, really great comic. Came up with like all the greats at the Comedy Store. His name's on the wall over there. And he came up to me afterwards and he goes, I got to give it to you. He goes, that was a hell gig. He goes, that was one of those gigs that you're just like, I feel so sorry for these comics. He goes, but you took it like a champ. And he goes, you remind me so much of a young Joan Rivers. And I was just like, oh my God, that's so nice. I was like, which face?
Yeah.
But he was just like, you're just delightful and snarky. And he goes, and I really enjoyed you. And so like getting to talk to someone that I used to watch on television and like get geeked out over, like that was really cool. But yeah, like, oh, and there's one other one. It always involves a random celebrity run-in when you have like the bomb nights. But it's honestly more because they're like, I see you and I respect you, and this was not in your favor. I think the worst kind of comedy is when people don't know there's gonna be comedy. Like surprise comedy.
Okay.
You know, like you go to your favorite restaurant and there's an open mic.
Yeah.
Like hard pass, you know? So this particular event was like a Playboy Halloween party.
Fun.
And they were like, you're going to do comedy there. And so it was like me and like 3 other comics. And none of us knew what we'd signed up for. And apparently, neither did the people that were going to be at this party because we were performing comedy in a nightclub. There was no stage.
Oh.
There was no real stage to speak of. It was just us like walking around in like various platforms in a nightclub. But I'll never forget after we survived this set, which was heinous, because no one, it was like all the Hollywood elite and no one wanted to be talked to. Corey Feldman came up to me dressed as Harry Potter and was like, "You were really funny." And I was like, "You know what? That just made this entire night worth it to me."
You're like, "I'll take it. Thank you."
The kid from Goonies
Yes.
told me I was hilarious.
Yes.
And that's all I'm going to take away from this evening because it was trash. But yeah, those are my bombing stories,
Oh
you
my
know?
God. And the nightclub, I had a potential job in a nightclub where it was like this night and they were like featuring like trans people. And it was mostly like trans people that did like drag. Like it was hosted by Stalster Colby, who's like really big now from RuPaul's Drag Race. But she came up to me one day and she was like, "What's your talent? What do you do?" And I was like, "Oh, I do stand up." And she was like, "Let's get you booked on something." And wanting to do it. But I was like, you know what? In a busy nightclub when everyone's messed up,
No,
like this is a
it's not the
disaster.
place.
Because they want to like, you know, rage. They want to like,
Mhm.
maybe a drag queen can entertain them for a minute, but like, this is destined to be
Well,
miserable.
also, people, it depends what substance you're performing for people. Like, whatever substance people are on, like, that's going to change the way that they take in your performance. Like, I do not like doing shows for people who are high.
Oh my God.
Because even when they're enjoying it, you don't know.
Yeah.
Because they usually will just like they laugh on the inside, or like they'll just smile at you and like quietly giggle
Yeah.
because they're so self-conscious because they're like, "Oh, we're so fucked up right now."
Yes.
But I think it's important that you register what people are on so that you can tailor your performance, because then they like physical comedy, which makes sense because like that's what the drag queens do. You know what I mean? So I think it's just being able to tailor your comedy to whatever the experience is in the room.
Yeah. And so after like everything happened and you were kind of like chased out of sports, what made you go like, "Oh, comedy, that's it"?
So during the end of the Favre scandal, when I was trying to like just get out of it and get back to work, I got approached by Norm Macdonald, like comedian, world famous Norm Macdonald. And he had a sports show on Comedy Central at the time. And he was like, "Jen, I would love to do a sketch with you about how old men don't know how to text younger women." And so he pitched me this hilarious bit that was super dark, super Norm. It was perfect. And I ran it past my reps and they were like, "No, if you do this, no one will take you seriously." And I was really bummed.
Mhm.
And I took that back to Norm and I was like, "Hey, I would love to do this. It would be an honor of a lifetime to work with you. But like my reps are just saying I can't do this because no one will take me seriously as a victim." And Norm said, "I totally get it, Jen. I sympathize." He goes, "I really feel bad for you because you seem like a good kid that's just trapped in a bad situation." He goes, "But if I can give you any advice," he said, "it's that the sooner you can own this, it stops owning you.
Okay.
Mhm.
Like the sooner you can own this, no one can harm you with it."
Mhm.
And I don't know if like that's the day that I was like, "Oh, comedy's my path," but it definitely pinged something in
Switched.
me. Yeah, for sure. Look, I had always gotten in trouble for being funny, even in sports.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Where like to the point where I would get yelled at. I think I was doing like a 6 a.m. sports call, like a 6 a.m. like sports report, and I made an Ace Ventura reference. Yeah, I
Can
was
we
like,
know the reference?
yeah, so it was during the scandal that the Miami Dolphins had where there was bullying on the team. And it was really fucked up situation. Like one of the players was being bullied by another player. But it was early and I'm not a morning person. And so the producer that normally helped me write my scripts was out that day, so I wrote my own. And I said down the barrel of the camera, I said, "This is the biggest controversy to hit the Dolphins since the disappearance of Snowflake." which is like the fake dolphin getting kidnapped. Do you know what I mean?
As soon as you said dolphins, I'm like, where is she going with this?
And the camera
That's
guy,
genius, though.
it's just me and the camera guy in the room, and no one else is paying attention. They're all behind computers in the back, and you just see him go. And I got an email from my boss later in the day, and he goes, "Did you make an Ace Ventura reference during a bullying scandal announcement?" I was like, I might have.
It was genius, though.
He was like, "Don't ever do that again." But that's why my sports just take themselves too seriously.
Mhm.
And so, you know, even if I ever went back to sports, it would have to be something so fun, because sports is also a lot of homework. And you have to
Yes.
watch everything, even the stuff that you don't care about. And I think that you can love something, but not make it your job. And I
Yeah.
think that it's really prevalent in LA, where you see people that are like, "Oh, I love gaming," or "I love this. How do I monetize my
Yeah.
hobby?" And it's like, no, that's how you ruin it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't. And for once, like I feel like comedy hasn't been ruined for me. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, and that's why I know I feel like I've found the right path, is because like I worked in sports, I worked in wrestling, and it's like it just jaded me towards all of that. And comedy, I'm just like, no, I see its purpose. I see
Yeah.
what it's supposed to do. And so I'm like, I'm not jaded by it at all. And I get more excited about the possibilities of what we're going to be able to do with it, you know, moving forward. Because that's the one thing. ChatGPT has not figured out how to be funny.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Truly, it hasn't.
Mhm.
And I think it's because a lot of it's like, it's based on patterns, and it's based on sourcing what's already out there.
Mhm.
But I think comedy is comedy because it's human.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
imperfect.
Mhm.
It's silly, and it's surprising people. It's breaking social norms. And I think that is what we do so well, and it's going to make us kind of like the last front to be replaced by technology.
Yeah. And I think of it as like the AI as like the nerdy guy who is extremely intelligent, but is like dumb. Do you know what I mean? Like how do you function in life?
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like they're like extremely book smart, but they know nothing about like the streets. And I think,
I feel like I'm being personally attacked right now.
oh no,
I'm
what
joking, I'm
happened? I was
joking.
gonna say.
I'm like, wait, you're describing me.
Yeah.
But no, I think it's funny because like some of my jokes that hit the hardest, I didn't understand for a long time, is that I thought people were laughing at me because I was playing dumb, and it was not that I was playing dumb. It's that I was naive,
Mm.
Mm.
and naive and dumb are not the same thing, you know. And so now that I lean into that more, I've really seen like my comedy take off. And I think that that's like one of the things that I'm really good at, is helping people see the parts of themselves that they might not be willing to address, that are what's going to make their comedy pop. You know what I mean? Because again, if you can own it, no one can hurt you with it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, take the parts of you that you're scared to show people.
Mhm.
And that's the stuff you should fucking lead with, because that's your superpower.
I love that. That's great advice.
Definitely. Because it's like there's a lot of times where stuff will happen and you see it one way about yourself, but somebody else sees you and sees the situation completely different. And you're like,
Oh yeah,
I didn't think of it that way.
for sure.
Mhm.
For sure.
I know that's something I've in comedy that I don't know how I'm perceived too well.
Well, we're going to find out.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
We're going to find out. And I think honestly, once you understand how the world sees you, I got kind of a crash course in it, unfortunately, because when the Favre stuff happened, I think one of the hardest things for me was taking in all the input from the internet, because this is right when Twitter was really popping off, and just hearing what all these people thought about me. And it was so different from how I saw myself. And I was like, how are they getting it so wrong?
Yeah.
How is my experience of me so different from their experience of me? And I didn't understand it. And of course now I do. But
Do you
know,
feel like you like lost a sense of your identity at all during that, or was it just like you knew like, no, that's
I knew the stuff that they were saying about me wasn't true, but I didn't understand their math and how they were getting there.
okay?
And I think all of this happened at such a young age, relatively speaking. Like I was 28 when the scandal broke. And the internet was still very kind of new and apps were still new. Do you know what I mean? Like Twitter wasn't an app yet. It was still on the internet. But I think we were just coming to like before that, it's like you only had to worry about what the kids in your school thought of you. Do you know what I mean? Like we were all tortured enough by that.
Yes.
You know, you had to worry about what the kids in your school thought of you, and then like the kids in your town, you know what I mean? And then whatever, and then your university. And then when social media happened, everything kind of changed. And when all that changed, I think our brains were just not capable of handling that much information being put at us, that other people were like, no, this is who you are. And this is what I think of you. And it took bullying to like this astronomically large level. And that's what I experienced, you know? And so I really think getting that hard dose of what the internet thought of me, and honestly, based on a lot of false narratives, and that's what they show in the documentary. I say all the time, the internet told me who I was before I had a chance to figure it out for myself. And I think at my age, I'm just now like really coming to grips with like why my life has panned out the way it has and who I am. And I think that the internet got it wrong. And I really kind of mourn the versions of myself that spent time believing the internet.
Well, I hope you feel really proud about like the way that you've come out of this and finding a whole purpose in this, because I feel like it takes almost like a certain level of like inner strength that not a lot of people have. Like I know that like if me personally, I was going through something like this, I know that I could have gone down like a completely different path. Like I don't know that I would be able to pull myself out. So I think that like kudos to you for just like learning how to own it, like starting to kind of control your own narrative, not letting it beat you down, and like finding a whole new purpose. I think that that is something that I hope genuinely that you're just like fucking good for me.
Yeah. And look, there are people that are like, why does she keep talking about this? And I'm like, those are the type of people that I go, what does someone else owning their story? What does that have to do with you? Like, why does it matter if someone needs to own their story for them, for their healing process, maybe to help other people? Because at some point we stop telling our story for ourselves and we start telling it so that someone else reading it goes, oh, fuck, I'm not alone.
Yes.
You know?
I think it's important for you to keep telling it for exactly that reason. Like, you don't know who.
And I don't necessarily need to keep telling this version of the story, you know? Like, I think the documentary will stand on its own. It's going to live on one of the biggest streaming platforms there is. But before this, most people don't know it, but I was actually speaking at sports media classes. And every year I would come and I would teach the class, stuff would change and stuff would evolve, because I was also learning and evolving in my healing process during this. And people don't understand, or I should say the emotionally unintelligent people do not understand that my story is not about a girl that got sent an inappropriate picture. My story is about a girl who found herself in a system of power that dramatically outweighed her and then systematically destroyed her in front of everyone, and everyone piled on like a witch hunt. Like, that's what it felt like. When I read about like the old witch hunts and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is too real. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, I don't believe in past lives, but maybe.
No, yeah.
You know? Because it felt like that, where I was like, oh, how everybody just got it wrong. And they just needed to make me the bad guy to protect a hero, you know, a fake hero.
A fake hero. Yes.
Yeah.
Very shady fucking hero.
And even back to the witch trials. I mean, most of those witches were just women that were intelligent and made a guy feel insecure about himself.
Probably.
You know?
Maybe she had a spell to give him a small dick.
Yeah.
I don't know what she do.
Yeah. Well, speaking of creepy, should we get into creepy and cute?
Oh, that's a thing?
Yes. So we have a game called Creepy or Cute.
Okay.
It's just
Speed
positive
round.
or negative.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't have to actually be creepy. It's just the name.
Okay.
Okay. My space is top 8.
Creepy. Because there was always a dude in them. Like fucking, we all had a dude named Tom.
Yeah.
Whose literal profile picture was just like,
Yes.
in time. Like, you know, he designed that website and he was like, I'm going to be the most popular person on this. And then we were all like, psych, it's Dane Cook.
Marching bands.
Cute. I was a band dork.
What did you play?
I was the drum major. I was in charge.
Oh, you were a drum major.
Yeah, I was the one that conducted.
Oh my God.
Oh.
That's so cool.
Do you know, I played trombone, and then drums in the marching band.
Amazing.
And okay, so I'm from Ohio. Do you know Ohio State's band?
Of course.
So my mom's boss was the guy who did like the big hat and would like dot the I when he like leans back with like the huge.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
That's fun.
I didn't know you played the trombone. I played the trombone.
Oh God.
Oh my God, yes, I played the trombone, and it was just for my music class in high school. But yeah, I didn't know you did that.
Did you choose that?
I did choose that. I did, and you know why I chose it? Because I'm immature, and I could
knew
say
exactly
that
why.
tromboner.
Yes. And then this will date myself a little bit. My mom was a majorette instructor.
Oh, yeah.
She would do like the fire batons and all of that.
Oh, that's fun.
Mhm. Saying titties on the news.
Cute. I don't think they'll ever have me back.
Cowgirl hats.
Cute.
Tiffany Valentine
Who's that?
from Chucky.
Oh, Tiffany. Oh, that
it was-
Tiffany.
I
Yeah,
think it was a
yeah. I was like,
Halloween
no, we're on a
costume.
first time basis. Yeah. No, we're on a first name basis. That's Tiff.
That's
Tiff, creepy.
NPCs at the gym.
Creepy.
By the way, the reason it's creepy is because we get creepy in this section.
Okay,
We, like,
okay,
sleuth through
Deep
social media.
dive.
I was like, oh, this is getting creepy now. They've done their research.
It literally takes most of our guests a few minutes to be like, hold
Oh,
on,
wait, these are all about me.
second.
Yeah. Cruises. Ugh.
What did you
Creepy. So creepy.
What did you call it? The trailer park?
Trailer park of the sea.
I laughed
So
so
gross.
hard at that because I recently just went on my first cruise, and honestly, like, I'm a fucking cruiser now. Like, I already have my next one booked.
No.
I love it. I love it.
Why do you people want to waste time going somewhere? Just get there.
I love it.
No.
Stray cats.
Love. Cute.
Florida man.
I don't know. We talking about my ex-boyfriends.
Oh.
Creepy. Always creepy. Regardless, creepy.
Just a general. Okay.
Fun.
Well, that is our.
That was fun.
That is our
Yes.
time. Thank you so much for coming
Damn,
on.
that took me a minute to catch on. I was like, wait, are these about me?
We're the creeps in this.
Yeah.
I love that.
When we did Genesis like a few months ago, we found so much stuff. She was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Like, this is
We
crazy.
went down to the bottom and got her first Instagram post, and she was like, what is this?
So funny. So funny.
Okay, well, I think that's our time for today. Thank you again
Awesome.
for coming on.
Of course. Thank you for having
Thank you
me.
so much.
Yes.
This was great, and our listeners are just going to love all the inspiration you brought today, and thank you for continuing to use your voice and just being the badass that you are.
Thank
So,
you. I hope that
please.
they, if they're interested in going and seeing some stand-up comedy, please sign up for my mailing list. It's on my Instagram bio, or you can just comment tour under any of my Instagram posts, and it'll send you the link directly. Just
Perfect.
because I'm going to be going back out on the road pretty soon, and I'd love to come to a city near you because I really know that I'm doing something special with comedy right now, and I really would like to share it with as many people as possible.
We love it. And we'll be
Yes.
sure to post all of your links on
Thank
all of our
you.
posts. So thank you so much, guys. And we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. Bye.
Bye.